Oh boy. Hey, Aster here, and today, welcome to my personal thoughts on the Wonder content. Well, I guess it's the demo and the teaser. Now, the thing is, I've already actually watched the demo and the teaser, so today's just going to be a much more calm and collected compilation of my thoughts. So if you're looking for me screaming at the top of my lungs, this ain't it, Chief. And look, one of my friends is playing 7 Days to Die at SMH. Anyway, today we're going to be watching the demo for, and I'm gonna be breaking down some important notes that I was considering. And oh boy, I had a lot of notes. Let's go first with the less painful one, I think. Let's go first with a teaser. Yeah, I've already watched this, so like I already know what's here. Yeah, but I do actually just want to put my thoughts into this because I think it's really important to break this down, and I want to address some stuff because lore is the name of the game. Anyway, let's begin. Hold on. Walk, see? Always go for 1080p.
Once more, I have lost my heart.
Oh man, I don't want to watch this.
It hurts.
Dude, okay, before I begin, I would just like to say that Pedrick Pedraza's voice acting for like both of these is just so good.
My skin feels like it's on fire.
Dude. Bro.
Burning me alive. Turning me to ash.
I feel sorry for all Senora mains, by the way. Like, Scaramouche just claimed the word ash, and it was nice knowing all of you. It is an unfortunate shame that ashes are now Scaramouche's thing. I'm so sorry, Senora mains. Oh my gosh. Anyway, let's go.
You mean you wish you had a heart?
Oh man.
Have you ever heard this story before?
Alright. Okay, that looks so creepy. Like, now that I paused it, but there was actually a really fascinating theory that was coming around, like when they looked at the kid and how the kid was acting. Some people were theorizing that it was actually Venti that was talking through the child, like how he talked through how he was talking as Stanley during his like story quest. I don't actually subscribe to that idea that this was Venti. I actually don't want it to be Venti just because I do want it to be the kid themselves that gives the story, just so that it fleshes him, like the kid, as a character, and like it doesn't really force Venti into the narrative, because I think that Scaramouche's story should just be about Scaramouche's NPCs, etc. Anyway, let's go.
There once was a puppet soldier.
Dude, this
whose
is so
greatest
pretty.
wish was to be with the ballerina doll forever.
This is a story, by the way, by Hans Christian Andersen, and I actually kind of want to look for for any old documents about the story itself. This is a tin soldier's heart, and I think the original story is much grittier. If I'm not mistaken, the ballerina doll is also tossed into the fire, like the wind blows her away and into the fire. And oh boy, oh no, it's just not it, Chief, huh? This one is, oh man, my heart.
Ever
My
and
heart.
ever.
My heart, man.
But the soldier didn't have a heart and
Yes, he
didn't know
didn't.
where his feelings came from.
The little drummer
One
boy.
day, his owner didn't want him anymore and threw him away into a fire. But even in the flames, his eyes never left the ballerina. The next day, the people found a tiny heart in the ashes left by the fire.
Probably ashes in the shape of a heart. But that's not a real heart.
Well, I just had to collect myself there. So, I actually think that Scaramouche's story is less so about him discovering a heart and more so accepting that he doesn't need a heart in the first place. Kind of like how his obsession towards all of his emotions is poured into this ideology that, like, cause think about it, like if you look at all of his story, right, he's kind of blaming the delusion for his actions in the Husk of Opulent Dreams, and then came his obsession with finding the Gnosis, which he associated with a heart. I like to think that his character growth comes in the form of him accepting that he's his own person, and just because he doesn't have a physical heart or like a manifestation of it that he could blame everything onto, that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a heart, you know? That doesn't mean that he doesn't have anything, that he's, you know, incapable of feelings, etc., etc. And it actually cements that quote from his Archon Quest story that he discards his feelings because they were kind of disgusting. What I like about Scaramouche's story is that he's a very unreliable narrator, even in his own cutscenes, right? He would always say that he would always say that the person betrayed him, or that he became angry, etc. Or even in his own Husk of Opulent Dreams, he said the reason he stopped pursuing the Raiden Gokuden was simply because he didn't care, but we do see that in 2.6, it was because of someone called Niwa. And even in his Suppressing Cup, he says that A tossed him aside like worthless dross, even if in A's perspective, right, she wants him to be free without the burden of having to be the shogun, etc., etc. With A's situation, it's kind of like, what is freedom when demanded of you by a god? Like, as freedom if they force you to be free, just nothing short of abandonment because they don't want to deal with you, etc. Like, he's just filled with ire and spite for the circumstances in his life. And even as a wanderer, I think you can just hear and see it. It's not that he made a complete shift in personality or in ideology, actually. He still subscribes to a lot of his ideas, just with a little bit more experience and a little bit more reflection. But it's not like he completely abandons all those thoughts, and I think it's really fascinating.
Maybe, but what if
Moving on,
hearts can
though.
be born from ashes?
Oh.
How
This
dare you
one.
die like this? And break your promise to me. What a joke. It's just ashes. Nothing left but ashes.
This one. I really want to talk about this scene. If you're watching this video before you watch the actual teaser and the demo, I am so sorry that you were not able to fully experience all of this, but I did want to talk about this scene because, oh boy. When you watch the scene talked about in the Archon Quest first, it was more so angry. I think that the way it was transitioned made it seem like Scaramouche not only burnt it, you know, as a form of cremation, you know, as a respect for the kid, but it was also the start of his anger towards everything. And the flames were the symbol of his hate, of his anger, of his fury and defiance and resolve. Like, that was his transition to becoming the Fatui. But there was this scene just put in a whole new context to that is so sad. It's the same scene, right? It's the same scene. But now you're just seeing someone that's sitting in the flames, just waiting for it to burn. Like, it's not him rising up from the ashes, not him just like walking away pissed off and with a new form of revolution against everything. No, it's just him sitting down, waiting to die. And he wants to be consumed by the flame, and hopefully he gets a heart like that, like the one in the story. There is such a hidden level of melancholy in Scaramouche's story that you need to always look deeper, because he presents himself like this really angry and pissed off individual, which he is, but there's this really sad underlying personality. With A, it was like defiance against the Raiden shogun, and he was pissed off that he was cast aside like worthless dross. And then when you hear him say mother for the first time, it just breaks your heart. And the fact that he kept the feather on him, it means that he at some point, or at least even just a tiny part of him, is still holding on to that kind of what if you'd loved me like a mother. The beauty of Scaramouche's tale is just how sad things are under the surface. Like, you can't help but feel pity for the guy, even though committed several atrocities against this world and still a menace to society. I'm so scared that we'll just never get a story like this ever again. I am genuinely just so afraid that we're never going to get a character just this beautifully written and this complex ever again. Because Genshin has a habit of not really showing, just telling that a character is smart, telling that a character is deep, without really showing it to us. And this was a beautiful setup. It was the way that it was written, and oh boy, this scene is just so heavy. If you watch the cutscene from the Archon Quest first. That's it, just my thoughts, honestly.
If only I could have burned to death in that fire too.
Oh my god, I cannot listen to that.
No. In fact, I wish I'd never been born at all.
Queen called, they wanted their copyright back. Oh my god, Hoyo, please. We know that you made a Fandango, man. And here he is. Hello, Wanderer. Alright, the lore of this scene is something that I actually wanted to talk about. Okay, before we go into that sappy stuff, this is actually something that was reflected in the Husk of Opulent Dreams in the Bloom Tides. Skyrim essentially says that he met a phantom in his dreams that was akin to a blank puppet. The fact that I memorized that means that I just kept reading that multiple times, but basically he was confused if this was something from his past or his future, and this phantom, this thing, it was very much like him. It was a blank sheet of paper. It told him that you were given a prop of a heart, which was the delusion. It was merely a prop for lies. And then he finally got what he deserves, which was the Gnosis. But then this phantom says that this isn't for you, or something like that. And I am just firmly believing that this is it. This is just a whole circle. Skyrim's story is just nothing more than one massive loop. It is beautiful. It is so beautifully written. Just wow. Wow. And now we see the killer line.
Never been born at all. Is that really all you wish for?
And then we cut off. Oh boy, that teaser. So it seems that we are going to the past. Like, I think we already saw that in the trailer. We're going to the past and then confronting, but it's not just going to be this one. I wonder if we're going to get a character model of the old Scaramouche, like the one in white, the one that we saw in the Archon Quest trailer. I wonder if we are going to go back to the time where that happened, you know, because he's going back through the Irminsul, and I wonder how they're going to play that out. And the character demo, in my opinion, is, well, it's clearly the Wanderer's story now. It's no longer Scaramouche, it's no longer Kunikuzushi, it's no longer Kabikomono. It is Wanderer. It is a Wanderer's story. It is no one else's, but this threat to society that remembers everything from Nifatui, and God bless his soul that he just did not get a factory reset. You know, I think everyone was so afraid that he was going to get a character reset. I was so afraid that he was going to get a character reset. I feel like everyone was so worried when we found out he was in a coma, when we found out that he was going to be playable. There were just so many people that were so worried that how are they going to make him playable? And if they just factory reset him to be a good guy or just don't remember his atrocities, like, is that even Scaramouche? And I'm so happy that with Wanderer, that's not the case. He's still a threat to society. He is still a dick. Anyway, let's watch this one. This one's pretty cool. I love this demo so much. Out of all of the demos that I watched, this one is such a banger just because it is such a great fight. Like, you don't see a lot of fights anymore that are cinematic. What am I talking about? A lot of the times, the character demo is just them fighting with the usual camera pans that are, you know, the gameplay. But this one just takes the cake of being a cinematic. Like, it was so fucking cool. Of course, oh wait, let me just reset this real quick. There you go. Of course, we open up with a bird. Genshin Impact will never The Genshin Impact will never forget its references. Of course, the bird will make it into the entire thing. And I'm so happy that they finally closed this off. Everyone was just like, is Skirmish gonna have the bird? Is the Wanderer gonna have the bird? Everyone was so disappointed, by the way, when he didn't have it in the idol. So I'm so happy that it's in the demo. This bird is just like meeting with the all-stars of the Raiden family. It's just me, or this is really low quality. I'm not crazy, right? Is this meant to be low quality? Bro, looks like he's merging straight with the pixels. Like, now that I'm actually watching it right now, because I watched it on my phone where it was actually just low quality. This is weird. Oh, it is in HD. Dude, his legs are so white. Ugh, okay, I have some things to say about this. Alright, one is that these people don't recognize him, and I have several thoughts about this. One is that Skyrim successfully does not exist anymore. Like, he was erased from people's memories, etc. The second one is the Fatui just have really shit employee training regiments. Like, imagine not knowing one of your bosses, and you're supposed to know them by name. Imagine that. I don't know, it's just so funny to me. Like, okay, I understand that the Fatui is a really big organization, but there's just something really funny about them not knowing it's their boss, you know? I'm gonna be real with you. This guy is known as, like, the most hated Harbinger. You know how, yeah, they should know their bosses, all 11 of them, but the reputation of Scaramouche is just so toxic in the Harbinger pool of people. How did they just never meet him, right? I'm so confused, but at the same time, I understand, because, like, Scaramouche works in the shadows, or the Harbingers work in the shadows. They probably only know their boss by face, because it's a precaution. But still, it's kind of funny to think about it like that they don't know the Fatui Harbingers, their own bosses. Alright, anyway, let's go.
You're here. Gonna need you to show us the way.
They're so dumb. Like, couldn't you ask nicely? I mean, I'm sure Skirmish would have still beaten you up, but you could have just asked nicely. Bro, the bird's just fucking happy to be here. No, you don't want this smoke.
We won't ask twice.
Two big, strong Fatui. Asking me to be their chaperone. Is this some kind of joke?
Think you're funny, do you? You'll regret that!
Sure I will.
Whoa, okay, so it was made to be low quality, okay. The film grains, bro. Oh my gosh, this was such a really cool sequence, by the way. I love that it's obscured. I love that it just hints that he's going to do something with his identity and remove himself from the Irminsul or whatever. But dude, and he gets his custom font. Hoyo, I know you don't like playing favorites, but the font you made here was super fucking sick. Did I love him so much? I love the way that Hoyo treated him. Damn. Oh, dude, this sequence is so cool. He's so graceful. Look at him go. Oh my god. Oh, I actually thought he like shoved it straight into his heart the first time I watched it. That might have been a little too brutal.
You'll die 1,000 deaths for this!
I look forward to that. Sadly, you won't be there to see it.
So fucking good. Dude. I still can't get over the fact that his hat is an important part of the story. Like, as much as we meme about the hat, right? His hat being a part of his power set is just so funny to me. You don't understand. The hat just like, remove the hat from Scaramouche, he literally just does not have a vision. Like, if you remove the hat from Scaramouche, he literally just loses, like, an entire ability. If you remove his hat, does he just lose the ability to fly? Or does... Okay, you remove the hat, but he summons it back. Oh, man.
You were looking for trouble. No one to blame but yourselves.
He's just so cocky.
Huh?
Shoo.
We're done here. Next time you're looking for directions, I suggest you find your own way.
So, final thoughts about everything about Scaramouche, sorry, Wanderer, before this all goes down. I am curious, but also kind of afraid for if he erases his identity from the urban soul. And yes, I know that I just made a theory about it, and I went really hard on trying to sell that idea. Dude, that was like one of my longest videos, but I don't like the idea of Scaramouche completely erasing himself from other memories, other people's memories. The Irminsul tree plot device is one of the hardest plot devices to execute, in my opinion. It's kind of like time travel. You know how fickle time travel can be if it's not explained or executed properly? Memory wiping also does that. Mass memory wiping also does that. But I do think that he's just going to obscure his, like, identity, maybe. Hopefully he doesn't just completely erase Scaramouche from existence like Ruka Devada. But I think they're leaning towards that. And that theory being right. Oh boy. Those are just my thoughts about everything Scaramouche related. And oh my gosh, I'm just so happy that it feels so surreal that he's here, you know? It feels so surreal that he is playable. It feels so surreal that he's Animo. One of my favorite elements. God, I was so afraid for him being Electro, by the way. I genuinely thought that if he was Electro, I was just gonna skip him. I do not like Electro as an element, and I love Animo so much, and I'm so happy that he's Animo. But, oh my goodness. He's gonna be playable in 2 days. This feels really weird. Anyway, my name is Aston. Thank you so much for chilling with me. Actually, I'm going to be showing my polls to you guys, so stay tuned for that. Bye-bye!